Hi, this is your sister Desiree Monique, and welcome to my channel, How They Made It. And today, as promised, I'm going to be reading another chapter from the Trashman to the Cashman. Now I'm on chapter 3. You can pick that up as Amazon if you want to pick up the book, Amazon.com. I'm not sure where any place else that they have it, but I know they have it because I think that's where I got my copy. Okay, chapter 3, The Window of Opportunity. The window of opportunity has more to do with your perspective on money and how it is made than anything else. Let me illustrate this for you. On the following pages, you will see an interaction. I'm sorry, intersection. In the center of this intersection, that dollar sign is where an accident happens. There are four people standing on four corners, and they all see the same accident. My question to you is, did they all see the same thing? The answer is, of course not. They all saw something different. The reason they all saw something different is because they were all looking at the situation from a different perspective. Just as in this illustration about the accident, our financial life has a lot more to do with perspective than most people realize. Think about that. Your perspective is critical to the results you produce in your financial life. Have you ever stopped to consider your current perspective about money? Have you ever thought about the fact that your perspective is either keeping you from your dreams or making them a reality? If you were aware of how much power your perspective actually has, you would consciously create a perspective that serves you well, and you would eliminate the ones that do not serve you well. When you finish the next two chapters, you will have a brand new perspective that can make you rich beyond your imagination. Let's look at the following illustration to see if it will you help clarify our current perspective and help us develop a new one if necessary. This is the illustration. We know that these four people all saw the same accident, but they didn't see the same thing. Seldom we see things the same way they are. Most of the time, we see things the way we see them because of where we are. One of my purposes in writing this book is to move you to a different place in your life so you can see things that you couldn't see before. It's not about what happens as much as it is about how you view what happens. Now we're going to take this intersection and turn it into a window. This window has four panes in it. So instead of saying there are four people watching an accident, we're going to say they are all looking out the window. You may be wondering why I put a dollar sign there for an accident. The reason is this: if most people make any real money in their life, it's an accident. If they keep any of the money they make, that's also an accident. Now let's look. Now, Now let's draw a box around our intersection and turn our intersection into a window with four window panes. The window of opportunity. We've got four people looking through the window of opportunity, and all four of them are looking at money through the window from a different window pane. That is why they all have different perspectives. The lower left is the HAJ window pane. Right beside it on the bottom right is the OAJ window pane. On the top left is the OAS window pane. The top right is the SMS window pane. Those are the window panes in the window of opportunity. HAJ is in the lower left. It is in the bottom part of the window. The reason why is because HAJ stands for have a job. The worst way to make money, having a job is without question the worst legitimate way to make money. Unfortunately, for more for most people in this country, having a job is the only way they know how to make money. Of course, if you ask people how they like their jobs, they often say, well, you have to have a job, or I've got to pay my bills. Having a job is the worst way to make money because you trade your time for money. Trade your time for money. As we have already discussed, time is more valuable than money. So you're trading something valuable for something that is at best has a limited value. The second reason that having a job is the worst way to make money is because you only have so much time. This means that if you have a job, you can only make so much money. Another reason that having a job is the worst way to make money is because nobody is willing to pay you what you are worth. Think about it. Think about it. Go ask 10 people that you work with, 10 people in your neighborhood, 10 people at your church, and 10 people in your family if they feel like they are paid what they're worth. I promise you that every last one of them will tell you no. They will never be paid what they are worth while they are working for someone else. They will never be paid what they are worth while they are working for someone else. The second worst way to make money. The second way to make money on the bottom right is OAJ. That stands for own a job. Most people think that they are going from having a job into having their own business. But what they're really doing is going from having a job to owning a job. What owning a job means is that they start a business in which they are the only employee, which means they are in high demand. They go from having one boss over in the have a job window pane to 37 bosses called customers or clients in the own a job window pane. Never thought about that. People who own jobs generally make more money than people who have jobs because they decide how much they get paid and are usually in high demand. However, because they are usually the only person doing the job, they generally have less time than people who have a job. Owning a job is better than having a job because you make more money, but it's worse than having a job because it usually means you have less time. You don't have you don't want to go from having a job to owning a job. Another really bad thing about having a job or owning a job is that it is the most risky financial situation into which you can put yourself or your family. If something happens to you and you can't work, then your income comes to a screeching halt. Many people have found themselves devastated financially after becoming disabled or unemployed because they were the only source of their income. You don't want this to happen to you and your family. One of the best things you can do is to get to the point in your life where you are no longer looking at money through the lower window panes. Of these four ways to make money, having a job is the worst way to make money, and owning a job is the second worst way to make money. I know that some of you self employed job owners may be cringing at some of this information. Remember that having a job and owning a job have one major thing in common. Your income is still limited by time because you only have so much time. This means you can only make so much money. The best way to make money. So, the two worst ways to make money are to have a job or own a job. Now, we're going to look at money the way millionaires and billionaires make it. Let's look at let's look out the upper left-hand window pane, the OAS window. OAS stands for Own a System. I like what Robert Allen and Mark Victor Hansen put together with the phrase they coined. The word system stands for save your time, energy, and money. You want to own a system, or better yet, own some systems that pay you even when you're not working. There are different kinds of systems that you can own, but all of the systems that I'm talking about are what we would call business systems. Most people don't have enough courage to start, create, and sustain a business system. You say, Myron, what does it have to do with courage? It actually has everything to do with courage. Here's why. While you're building a system, you're often not getting paid. You usually don't get paid until the system is built. But most of us are addicted to a paycheck that we can't get rich. One of the biggest reasons we don't get rich is because we have to unlearn how to trade our time for money. You have to reprogram yourself for wealth creation instead of just making ends meet and paying the bills. You've been programmed your whole life to trade your time for money. You have to put in 8 hours of work for 8 hours of pay. First of all, what is 8 hours pay? If I'm going to put in 8 hours at work, I like to put in 8 hours of work for a lifetime of residual income. Residual income is the kind of income that keeps coming in long after you stop going out to get it. If I'm going to put in 100 hours of work, I'd rather put 100 hours of work into something that's going to pay me for the rest of my life. While you are creating a business system, you don't get paid, but after the system is created, it pays you from then on. You want to establish a business system because that is what's going to give you freedom with your life, freedom with your time and money. This is where Bill Gates, Michael Dell, Sam Walton, and the richest people in the world live. They own business systems. This is the arena in which my millionaire friends and I play. We own systems that pay us 5 and 6 figures per month, even when we are not working. There are different kinds of business systems. There are people systems, there are business real estate systems, there are business technology systems. There are many different kinds of systems that you can own. When you are putting the system into place, you make little or no money. But after the system is in place, the money starts coming in so fast you can't even count it. Right. So what you want to do is own a system or systems. Establishing a system requires time. It requires effort. It requires energy. It requires money. It requires patience because you don't generally start building a system one day and get paid the next. That's why most people don't do it. They think if they do some work that doesn't generate income right away, the effort wasn't worth it. I'm going to tell you something right now. Nothing could be further from the truth. Building a business system is going to eventually give you time freedom and money freedom. It's going to give you more time at the end of your day, more time at the end of your week, more time at the end of your month, more time at the end of your year. It will give you more time to fulfill your life purpose. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. I am glad that I learned a long time ago that success and failure are both hard. True, true. The difference is that if you succeed in life, you get to enjoy the fruits of your difficulty. If you fail in life, you have no fruit from your difficulty. The second best way to make money. The SMS window is the second best way to make money and the final way that we will discuss in this book. As we look through the window of opportunity, SMS means to sow money seeds. This is investing in things like stocks, oil wells, gold mines, tax lien certificates, etc. This is where your money is making more money for you. This is also where the richest people in the world live. Now I know where they live. This is where people like Warren Buffett hang out. These people understand how to make money for them. The beautiful thing about sowing money seeds and planting your money is that since everything reproduces after its own kind, when you begin to plant money, it makes your wealth grow at a faster and faster rate. You may be thinking money doesn't grow on trees. You're right. But if money did grow on trees, it would grow on many trees. Where else would money grow? Now I am speaking here figuratively. Money, if it is planted, invested, can grow more money. You must learn to plant your money in your investments long enough for it to reproduce. Remember, your money will never grow for you if all you do is use it for consumption. You must learn to use your money for production and reproduction. And that's the end of chapter 3. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. This is your sister Desiree. Peace.